Coming up today on That LTD Life, join me. I'm going to be reviewing Voila Norbert's email sequences, perhaps the most extravagant sounding of all of the cold outreach tools, but not an extravagant price. You can see just $49 over here at AppSumo. I'm Dave Swift, by the way, from ClientAmp.com, and if you're new to this channel, I review lifetime deals, go piece by piece, tell you exactly what I think with unbiased and very thorough reviews. If the video gets a little long, I don't mind if you skip around to the chapter markers that I've got in the description. You'll also find a link there for AppSumo. If you buy anything on AppSumo through that link, it helps support this content. So if you make it to the end, you enjoy this video, I do appreciate if you click that before making a purchase. And thank you very much to everybody who has already done so. All right, let's get into the plans and pricing here, and then I'll jump into the app. I've already got an account. I've been poking around a little bit. So what are we going to get here? We're going to go through this section. I don't always do this, but I want to point out all of the different features we're going to see. We get warm-ups. What's an email warm-up? Well, when you start sending email from a new address, it tends to not have a very good reputation. You might end up in the spam box or in the promotions box. And if you want to get into the inbox, warming up the email, which is an automated way of sending out emails to, let's say, bot accounts that are essentially opening your emails and engaging with them. That's a good way to boost your reputation, and that's included here for free. Well, not for free, but it's included with the price. We also get unlimited emails. Now, this could be confusing to some people because all of the pricing plans down here have a limit on the number of emails that you get. So let me clarify. These numbers refer to how many emails you can send. This just means you can write as many emails as you want, and then sending them out to contacts, that's where it'll start to count towards your quota. By the way, all of these plans are exactly the same other than how many emails you can send, and you can scale all the way up to 8 codes. You get 50,000 emails per code, so 8 codes being 400,000 emails. My 5th grade math teacher would be very proud of my abilities there. Let's move to the next option, which is email verification. So this is really cool. Before you send out the emails, you can actually check to make reasonably certain that it's a real email address and that it's not going to bounce. Bounced emails are bad. They basically destroy your reputation that you work so hard via the warm-up to build. So we want to make sure we're sending to valid email addresses. That is included here, but I want to point out it doesn't say how many, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Next up, we get automated email sequences. Wouldn't that be hilarious if they didn't include that as part of the plan, given that the name of the tool is email sequences? If you don't know what an email sequence is, it's the ability to schedule out emails, let's say 2 weeks, a month in advance, and automate that email sending so you don't have to log in every day and click the send button. You can have it all set up, and then the system will carry it out on a preset schedule. For doing cold outreach, the common approach is to be more aggressive in the beginning, maybe sending out 1 email per day for the first week, and then slowing down, maybe 1 every other day, 1 every 3 days, once a week. And eventually you're gonna, once a month and then just give up. We also get A/B testing. Now, typically in the email outreach space, this is going to refer to subject line testing, but sometimes you can also test the content of the emails. We'll get into this as we review the product. Then in terms of integrations, there's lots of integrations inside of the tool. They mentioned Salesforce, HubSpot, and Pipedrive, but there's actually quite a bit more to offer once we get in. I'll show you that in a minute. And we also get Zapier integration. So if there's not a tool with a native integration, you could go through Zapier if you needed to. Finally, we get AI copywriting. No mention of what model might be included, so we'll want to dig into that a little bit deeper. And we get 5,000 email finder credits per month. This is actually pretty cool. I've seen AppSumo deals just focus on the email finder aspect. So what is that? What is an email finder? Well, let's say there's somebody you want to contact, but you don't know their email, but you know what company they work for and you know their first and last name. Maybe this tool will be able to help you target what their email address is. Not 100%, but if you even get it to work once in a while and it results in a sale, definitely going to cover the $49 price. So here is my account. I've already been playing around a little bit. You can see I'm in the email finder tool here. Just kind of initial reaction to this was that the interface is a little bit hard to read. Like I think there should be more color contrast on the left-hand sidebar here. And actually the way they do this is these are nested inside of the email finder. So if I go down from email finder to the prospecting tool, well, then all of those other options go away. So I think there's got to be a better way to do this, but overall, I mean, the features are there that it mentioned. It just needs a, little loving hand of a good UI designer. So we're going to go through all of these eventually, but let's start at the top with the email finder. As you can see, I've been trying this out a little bit. I searched for Noah Kagan and it found his email address pretty quickly. So what I did there was just type in Noah Kagan and then appsumo.com. And it came back with noah@appsumo.com. Not shocking, pretty simple, but it gave me the right result. And let's check out what it actually presented. So we've got Noah's name up here. His title is Chief Sumo at AppSumo. And it says San Francisco, California, United States. I don't know where they're pulling that information from because as far as I know, AppSumo has always been in Austin. But yeah, it says San Francisco here. And then we have a bunch of links. So these are going to be primarily over to Noah's information. So we can send him an email right here. This will open it up in my own email. If I wanted to email him from inside of Hello Norbert, I would go ahead and click on this icon right here. And I've got the ability to send it. I don't know why we have both, but for some people, I'm sure that will be a nice option to have both. These links at the top are going to be Noah's social links. So we've got his Facebook, his Google Plus. Is that still a thing? Then his LinkedIn as well as his Twitter. I've clicked these. They all generally go to the correct location. So that's a good touch. I can set his status right down here. So whether he's a lead, whether I've contacted him, or whether I've won and lost the deal, I can choose that right here. I'm going to go back to lead. And then I get some more company information here. So this was his personal information. Here's his company information. You can see they get this correct with Austin and the support email for AppSumo. We get all of the AppSumo links down here as well. And then there is a discussion section. So I could leave a comment, a love note, etc. So they're being a little cutesy here with their type. Now I could also add Noah to a list over here by just clicking on the plus button and I get the message, what list do I want to add him to? And I can type to filter or create a list. So this could be like leads and I can hit create. All right, let's close and save this. All right, I want to try to find one more contact here, but to do so, I'm going to do some perusing over on LinkedIn. Now, Voila Norbert also has a LinkedIn extension, which you can install right here. I've already got this installed into Chrome. So let's go ahead and do a little prospecting. Okay, so let's say I wanted to find some people who do coaching online because I want to sell them services. Those are my ideal clients. I just searched for personal coach here in LinkedIn, and you can see I've got the little Voila Norbert logo in the upper right-hand corner, and I've got my search results down here. Now, the extension has added this other column in to find people's email addresses. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say this person right here, Danica Glenn, life coach in St. Paul. I live in St. Paul or nearby St. Paul, so this might be someone I could actually, try to pitch some services to. I'll click find email. And now it's going to go ahead and use one of my credits. Remember, I get 5,000 credits per month. It's going to try to find Danica's email. If I were to do this manually, by the way, I can click in and sometimes people will just post their email address. You can kind of go looking to see where it might be in the profile. And, I could try to reach out to them or go over to their website. But if I just go over to my extension, well, it's still trying to find Danica's email. So I'll let this grind for a minute and let's continue checking out the tool. Now, actually, I'm curious, will this show up over inside of my email finder section? All right, reloading, it doesn't show up yet. So that'll be something we have to look forward to throughout the rest of this video. How exciting. I want to point out that you can do manual searching. That's what I'm doing right here. We can also do bulk searches. So you can just upload a CSV file and it should at least contain the company and contact name and it'll just run all of those for you. We can also just view all of our contacts. We can see all of the contacts we've gathered from the email finder tool. All right, a little bit of a bummer here. Danica's email could not be found. Let's try Kyle here. He's a personal finance coach. I'm going to click find email for Kyle and we'll see if we're able to locate his email. So I happen to work with coaches and creators, course creators, things like that. So that's why I'm doing this search, but you could obviously replace it with really any niche that you try to serve, whether it's plumbers or solar panel builders or whatever it is. You can go ahead and try to replicate this inside of LinkedIn with your ideal candidates. Kyle couldn't be found either. Trying out Kelly here. Now there is a little warning here that LinkedIn has limits. So we want to make sure we don't go over those limits and end up getting our account banned. All right, so Kelly is not showing up anything either. So I'm striking out big time with the Chrome extension. All right, I'm not quitting. I'm going to try a few more here. I'm going to try plumbers and I'll let you know if I find anything. All right, so I think I'm about 0 for 6 here in terms of the LinkedIn extension. So I'm going to chalk that up to not functioning very well, at least not how I'm using it. Now, interestingly, it's not using my credits over inside of the web app. So maybe the Chrome extension is just not connecting to my account properly. I'm logged in and everything, but it's just not working. Oh, there we go. One more request came through. Interesting. We got one. Roger Wolf. This one came through. So there we go. Roger is a plumber, I believe. Roger is a journeyman plumber in Fort Worth, Texas, and I got his email address over here. We're obviously going to blur that out for privacy reasons, but there you go. It does work some of the time. So what's kind of cool is it seems like it's only charging me if it finds the email address. So I'm happy about that. All right, next up, we have the Prospect Finder. This is designed to help you find those key decision makers at companies. So let's go ahead and try this out. I'm going to click on Get Started Finding Prospects, and I can search by title, by company, by industry, and by location. All right, I'm going to search for AppSumo, the company, and we'll hit Go Ahead. There we go. We've got a huge list of AppSumo employees, I assume, and I could find all of their email addresses by clicking on the Show button. There's actually a lot of employees here, and they all have AppSumo email addresses. All right, let's do another example. Here is a dental clinic in St. Paul. Actually, they have a lot of different locations. Let's say I wanted to reach out to maybe the decision makers. I've got a lot of generic email addresses right here, but those aren't going to go to the right people. If I wanted to help them out with their marketing, something like that, well, I'd want to find those important decision makers. So I'm just going to copy their company name. I'll put it in the search box up here and hit Go Ahead. And there we go. I've got email addresses for a ton of people, and they are all of the correct domain name. Now I can see that it's pretty certain these are the correct email addresses because they have the little green indicator next to them. It'll be red if they're less than 80% certain that they're accurate. We even get phone numbers for some people, although these are starting to change the domain name, so they're probably not related. But if I was trying to find dentists, like these are all related to dental care, so definitely a good option here. Seems like this is a better way to go than just searching on LinkedIn. Maybe it would be better on LinkedIn if you pay for their Navigator package, which is quite a bit extra per month. But if you're just using this tool on its own, the Prospector is a lot better, in my opinion. I'm going to try one more search here for coach, and let's go ahead and see what types of coaches we can find. All right, so we've got some business coaches right away, a speaking coach, a life coach, a realtor coach. Yeah, this is great. Now, once I have my prospects, I can select them all, and then I can just export them right here. It's going to download them to a CSV file. It might be nice if I could add these to some kind of a list and then set it up in the email sequences, but this will do. I can always re-upload. So actually what I'm going to do is just one more search here for life coach. I've got a bunch selected. I'm going to show all of their email addresses and then export them. For the sake of privacy, I'm not going to show this part on screen, but I'll pick things up over in the next tool, which is the verification tool. It is letting me know this is going to cost 100 credits, and that's just fine by me. All right, so now I'm over in the verification tool. I'm going to upload my CSV file, and it says fetching emails. So it's going to try to charge me $2 to verify these emails, and I'm not going to do that. I actually recommend just grabbing a lifetime deal for email verification. There is currently one at AppSumo. I recently did a review for one called SMTPing. That deal has since ended, but there is another one available on AppSumo. Let me show you. So here's SMTPing. This one is no longer available, but there's another one that's a little bit more popular actually. Here is Reune, $79. This one is an email verification tool, very popular, 552 reviews. If you want to see me do a video dedicated to Reune, leave me a comment down below. I assume that's how you say that. Reune? I don't know. All right, so remember, it said email verification check. Like you can use the email verification. It doesn't mean it's included. That's a little weird. I think that should be taken out of the sales page. The next option over here is sequences. And when I click this, it takes me out of the overall interface and over into a brand new tab where I need to connect up my mail account. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to use a standard SMTP account. I'll add in my from name, my email address, and then my SMTP info. All right, I'm going to verify that this works. They're going to try to connect. All right, so my account is now connected, and in this next section, it wants me to set up my scheduling rules. This is when the emails will actually be going out. I can set it by default to go out between Monday and Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 20 emails per day, one email at a time, and it says recommended for new email addresses. There's also the option down here to warm up your account. We mentioned this before. Let's go ahead and see what this is all about. I'm going to click on Warmup Account, and it kicks me over to this other tool under deliverability here. It says email warmup. Now it's interesting to me because this left-hand sidebar is a little bit different than the one we saw earlier in the video. It's got this deliverability section that wasn't there before, and the option for LinkedIn is now gone as well. So not too consistent here. I don't love that. Let's go ahead and connect an email account here to warm up. Oh, it wants me to do this all over again. Okay, so I can choose a bunch of other providers this time. Let's do other. Okay, so I'm connecting up my email account to the warm-up tool right now. Don't worry, I will be going back to the email sequences later on. But the reason I wanted to show the warm-up first is that's the order you should do things. You should warm up your account before you just start sending out cold emails. So I think it makes sense to go through this process. And it would be wise, I think, for them to build this inside of the workflow so that if you're going to send cold email, they mention that you might want to warm things up. Now, while I was talking there, I did see it send up a message, so something was wrong. All right, so I get this error here, greeting never received. It's only on screen for a moment, but I can't continue because there's something wrong with my login. Just a small thing, it's probably on my end, but I wish that notification stayed up longer. If there's an error message like that, they should display it on screen until I dismiss it because I can't proceed. And if I don't know what's wrong, well, that's a problem. All right, there we go. I just had it set to TLS and it should have been SSL. We are now successfully connected. And here's how the warm-up tool works. We send a certain number of emails per day, and then we can have it gradually increase that volume and then set a reply rate. So if we set a higher reply rate, then it's going to basically give more signals that our emails are more desirable, but too high will look suspicious. All right, so I will stick with their default settings here and go to the next screen. All right, so it said your settings are saved, and here we go. 0 sent today, 0 opened today, 0 replied, and here is my spam score. Now, I also reviewed another tool recently called Inboxy, and it was dedicated to just the email warm-up procedure. Inboxy is a lot more legitimate, I think, when it comes to email warm-ups. This is probably going to be better than nothing, but there's not a lot of clarity here whether or not this is going to be going only to other SMTP accounts or if it'll be going to other accounts like Gmail and Outlook. Those are really the providers we want to give the signals to. So we want to use Gmail and Outlook as our recipients for our cold email warm-up, because if we don't, then they're not really going to know anything's happening, right? They have to get the emails themselves. Inboxy is still on AppSumo, $59 for this one. I'll put my link to the video down below so you can check this out if you want. It doesn't have a lot of great views, but I don't really get why. I think it's a solid tool. All right, so now I'm inside of the proper sequences dashboard. I think that was the interface that I was seeing before. I was confused because of the deliverability thing. So all of that's baked into email sequences. Honestly, I don't know why all of the tools can't be combined into a single user interface. It's a little bit strange to be bouncing back and forth, but here we are. I'm now inside of sequences. Let's check out everything that's here. We've got a prospect section where we would import our prospects. Let's go do that now. It says find people, import lists, or view any person's VN sequence history, VN being Voila Norbert. So I'm going to add prospects, and I can upload my CSV file here. I'll do the prospects I got from the other tool. All right, then we just need to map our columns. This is pretty standard if you've ever done an email import. We've got email and name. We'll pull that from the email address. The first name will come from full name. And notice it says strategy when importing fields, add only. So it's going to just basically remove like a full name and reduce it down to a first name. That way you can use their little tokens or placeholders to say, hey, Bill, rather than hey, William Burton. That's not very, human or natural sounding. All the other columns are matching up pretty good here. We've got phone number, company, social media accounts, so we could link those up if we had any. There's no other columns inside of my export. And let's go ahead and just import this. All right, so we are importing. Oh, it says there's a problem processing your data. That's strange, since the data actually came from Voila Norbert. All right, let's try the other field here, add an update. I don't know. I'm going to get rid of the name column as well. So the second error that I've seen in this tool without any kind of explanation, and it also goes away very quickly, it'd be nice to know what the problem was that they're finding. I'd expect it to be in a format that they could handle since it came from their own tool. All right, so I'm going to head over to SMTPing and let's go ahead and upload the file here and see if we can validate the list and then try to upload it into Norbert. So with SMTPing, again, this deal is no longer available. I just need to select the email column. I'll choose verify list. It says uploaded successfully. It's going to scan. All right, we got the results back here. Out of the 90 emails included, 63 were valid, 4 were invalid, and 14 were catch-all addresses. So we're going to go ahead and download the clean results only. All right, so I was just going back to upload my prospects, and it looks like they actually did upload. So I don't know what the error message was all about. I'm going to get rid of these and upload my clean list. So I can select them all and just hit delete prospects. There's a bunch of other buttons up here, but it's white on white. I can kind of make it out, but definitely a usability issue there. So for now, I'll just delete these. Makes me type delete prospects, and now they're gone. All right, let's re-upload the clean list from SMTPing. Import, 63 imported, so no problem there. I think there was probably some issues with the list that was exported because not all of the fields had email addresses. So I probably could have done a better job when I was going through the exporting rather than just selecting them all. Only choose the one that had email addresses. But here we go. I've got my list of prospects, and now I can start to message them, not spam. Cold outreach. So the thing with cold outreach is that you want to do it in a way that's most personal, not just kind of a blanket bulk message. And also so that you don't end up in the spam box, because that's not helping anyone. You want to try to provide some value in your messages. So always send emails to people who want to receive them and just generally be a good person on the internet. I promise you that will get you very, very far. So inside of our prospects, we can see a list of all of them. We can also go to the unsubscribe section to see people who have opted out of our messages. And then let's go ahead and check out the campaigns here. So we'll go to campaigns. We can create a new campaign. I'll give it a title. We set up who is managing this outreach, which email account it's going to use, and the from name on the emails. Then down below, we've got two other options here. Lead catcher. When a prospect becomes a lead, pause all other prospects from the same account. So maybe you want to, focus on one particular person. So that's optional. You can turn that on and off. And then we have an action of reply a certain number of times. I'm going to skip that for now, and let's check out the syncing to other apps. We'd have to actually go to the integrations to do that. I will show you the integrations a little bit later on, but essentially we can sync up our campaigns to those integrations. All right, moving to the next section, which is the prospects. Now, here it's asking me to upload some prospects. I should be able to send to my existing ones correctly. Existing list, here it is. All right, here is my list that I uploaded, and I can choose import. Little ad here for their list cleaner. Remember, that's extra, reasonably priced, but since I already have the other LTD, I didn't want to spend money on it. Then we go to the next section here, which is the sending settings. Okay, so we can track our opens and our link clicks here. That's great to see. And we can schedule the send. So we can set this up to be on a certain date. Let's say I want to do it, the end of September, and have it start at 2:03. Why not? All right, now let's go over to step 3, which is the sequence. Now we can either create a new sequence or import one here. If we click import, it's going to give us a list of existing templates that we can use. So let's go ahead and view what some of these might be like. Let's say, how about local brick and mortar? So here is the message. Hi, a friend in town mentioned your company, and I wanted to connect as we provide a service to many local businesses. And I wondered if you could use this too. Do you have, we've all seen spam emails like this, right? Very, very kind of typical type of cold email that you might receive inside of your promotions or spam box. All right, so if I like this message, I can choose this sequence right here, and it's going to pull into my sequence. I can go ahead and edit this to be exactly what I want it to be. There are all of these placeholders that I can choose. So all of that information I imported, I can grab the company, I can grab their first and last name, their LinkedIn URL, all of that. There's the option to send out a test email here, so you'll know what it looks like. And then we can take another action. So we hit the plus button right here, and we can do a task, a follow-up, a drip, an on click. So if someone clicks something, or something from a template here. So let's just try to do a drip sequence here. It says drips are always sent even when the prospect becomes a lead. So that's really good to know. All right, so I'm going to try to use their AI subject improver right here. So I just wrote quick question, and we'll click on the AI. And it says speedy inquiry, rapid query, swift question, brief ask, fast inquiry. So I guess those are supposed to be options for me. I'm not sure. Maybe that's formatting for like A/B testing too. I hope so. I hope that's not the subject line they're suggesting. All right, so I'm just gonna write a line here. I think what you do is great, and I have a way to help you make more money, and then I'll have the AI respin this to be more helpful. Whoop, I have to select less than 68 characters. Again, that message went away way too quick. All right, it is respinning my message, which is basically, you're great, I can make you money. And there we go, there's the output. So this looks like it's probably, not the greatest quality AI. It says your work is impressive. I got an idea to boost your earnings. What you do is outstanding. Yeah, it's giving me all these options here. But yeah, I would just stick with, Claude or probably Claude. So another type of action we can do here is a task. So let's click the plus button, go over to task, and we can create either a social media message or a general task. And this task might just be like reminding you to, do something related to the sale here. Basically, you're just going to give it a description, and you can also save this as a template, more of a workflow thing. But we can also send a social message to, connect them on social media. Like, okay, you send the email, then it reminds you, go out and reach to them on social media. Another little UI bug here where, it says cancel. I can see that, but it's very hard to read because it's like white on white. So rather than a drip, perhaps what I wanted to send was a follow-up. Follow-ups are stopped when a prospect becomes a lead. So a little bit of an odd differentiation there, but there we go. We can basically write another message here. There are connections to the templates too, so you don't have to rely on their AI. Another type of action is called on click. So the idea here is that someone clicks a link in your email, but doesn't actually convert and become a lead. Well, we can fire off a dedicated message tailored to maybe that service that they clicked on to just let them know a little something more and maybe answer some common questions. The last option over here from template just shows you a list of the existing templates, so no real reason for that to exist. All right, you remember at the beginning of the video, it mentioned A/B testing on the AppSumo deal page. The A/B testing option is right over here, and it actually lets you A/B test your entire sequence. So you can copy this sequence over to another one and then just make modifications there. So if you want to A/B test subject lines, you can do that. If you want to A/B test the whole shebang, change the subject lines and the copy, you can do that. Generally, I recommend just testing one variable at a time. So here's what the A/B testing looks like. You can see segment A over here and segment B over here. And we can go ahead and personalize this in the next step. So in the personalization step, we can see an actual contact and how it would be populated inside of the email. And it does give me a notification that I'm missing company example 1, example 2, and product and service. So I'd need to go ahead and fill that information in before I send out my message. And when I'm all done, of course, I would click confirm and my campaign would be scheduled. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to email these people. So here's what the campaign looks like on the main dashboard. You can see the campaigns that are currently working. This one is in draft mode, and I do have a few issues that I need to address like we already talked about. But otherwise, I'd get some stats over here, how many emails have been sent, how many were engaged with, how many leads it resulted in, and any bounces that I received. Under mail accounts, I can see any connected accounts that I have, as well as any upcoming emails that will be going out. So if you're unsure whether this thing is working, you can check that out right there. We already looked at the deliverability. It looks like it's actually sending right now. So it sent out one email and it hit the inbox. So that's good news. I'm kind of disappointed with the email warm-up section, honestly, because it just gives you very little detail about the emails that were sent. What's the content? What email is it going to? What email address? What provider? Not seeing anything here. So yeah, I'd love to get some more detail, but I don't see where I'd click to get that, even if I had sent more emails. All right, we're going to start to wrap this video up, blasting through the last few features. We've got reports over here. You can do campaign reports, lead reports, and manager reports. This is the integration section, which I told you I would tell you all about. We can connect a new app right over here. We've got Slack, Pipedrive, HubSpot, Salesforce, and Calendly on the sequences side of things. On the email side of things, there's even more integrations. So we'll go to integrations right here, and you can see we've got Salesforce, GetDrip, Close, Constant Contact, Pipedrive, Mailshake, HubSpot. There's API connections. These are all prospecting tools, right? So when we're gathering our prospects, we want to sync those up to other providers. We can do that. There's also verification tools. So you can send your verified emails out to those other providers like FormStack, JotForm, SendGrid, and MailChimp. And then there's enrichment. That's something that we haven't talked about yet. Let's check out enrichment right here. This is going to be another paid add-on. So essentially what enrichment does is when you have contacts and we're missing information, remember in the sequence, I was missing some information, I could upload my CSV file and it's going to try to fill that out with as much detail as possible. It says the job title, employer, location, social networks, and the person with the email address. No BS. They actually swear right on the sales page here. So, all right, that is a cool option if you do need to get more data. It's pretty affordable here, 500 emails for $20. I'm not going to be testing that out. Given the rest of the tool, I would expect it to be, kind of okay in its performance. All right, so time to wrap things up. I would say that email sequences is okay. It's not a overwhelmingly great tool here. I'm going to give it a 6.1 out of 10. It's something I would definitely try out if I needed to do cold email outreach and didn't have any other options, but it's probably not going to be the best go-to tool if you've got a larger budget or maybe have a legacy AppSumo deal that you're enjoying. No reason to switch here. So you made it to the end of this video. If you found the content helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here so you get more videos like this one in your feed. Drop me a comment down below. Just say hey for the algorithm, or let me know anything I might have gotten wrong in this video or any questions that might have come up as you are watching. I do have a website, clientamp.com. You can find me over there. I've got online courses, a free email newsletter, and you can even hire me to work on your business. That's going to do it for this video. If you want to click over to AppSumo, I've got my link down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.